Put him down. Put him down. I'm not looking up.
3, 2,
All right, everybody. Welcome back. Agony of Positivity podcast time. Sorry about the thud. That was me lowering the chair into the mic again. I am Ross, joined by...
Black Friday Solomon.
Is Black Friday Solomon like a rampaging... Actually, it wasn't even that bad out. But
Actually, yeah, when I was out yesterday, cars too crazy, guys. But then again, I went out around 12 o'clock. So.
Right. Yeah, I went out. So my Black Friday saga is very short, but my phone is very old. I had an iPhone 8.
Okay.
They're currently on a 13. I was finally noticing that my phone is slow to do things that I feel it should not be slow to.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I've milked this thing for quite a while. I'll go ahead and get a new phone. So I decided to go by the phone store. About 10 in the morning, and that was a mistake.
Did it have an Apple?
I just went to like the carrier store.
Gotcha.
So in our area, there's like one mall that has a Apple store. I do not go to that store.
Really?
No, there is, because again, like, I'm not like an Apple guy. I just have the Apple phone. Like,
You're that guy. Don't know.
I have like the iMac that we were using for recording for a while, like the little one, and I like that because GarageBand is fantastic. But
don't you have the TV too?
Oh yeah, well that's because everything's easy to subscribe to from my phone, and then I just put it up there. But because I'm in the ecosystem, I kind of use it, but you're not going to catch me being like, oh, you got to have a MacBook for this. Like I don't care that much. Like, I don't have like 47 Apple stickers on my car or any of that. But yeah, so go by the carrier's store, and the parking lot is completely full of cars. I was like, well, I'm going back home because I am not. There's no reason to stand in line to get a phone. That's stupid. So came home, went out a little bit later on in the day, like 5 or 6 at night or whatever. There was nobody there. Walked in, got it, and was done with it, and then went and got Chinese food. So that was my Black Friday.
Oh, there you go.
I committed some commerce and was done with it. But yeah, the stores, like as I drove by them, sad that I couldn't accomplish what I wanted in the morning. They really weren't that crazy.
It's because people don't have a lot of money this year.
Yeah.
They're spending all on gas.
So funny little thing about gas, because I have a Prius that I drive.
Yeah.
When driving on the highway, I'm getting close to like 50 miles per gallon. Now that I work in the same city that I live, my drive is very short. So my average mile per hour is 10. 10 miles per hour is my normal speed, and I'm down to like 30 gallons or 30 miles per gallon is what the gas consumption is, because it's just not as efficient. Never hitting the highway with it. So I was amused by that. But granted, a tank of gas will last me, if I only drove to work, 250 days. So...
Well, there you go. Hey, that too, man.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. But yeah, so side effect of that is lower gas mileage on the Prius, which is very, very sad.
I watched a guy. He lived in, I want to say it was Austin, Texas, but his goal was to drive from Austin, Texas, all the way up to New York somewhere.
Yeah.
In a Tesla. And he wanted to do it, and he wanted to see how automatic driving a Tesla was,
Yeah.
And so he's driving, and he's like, it's not. It's like it's not as bad as he thought it was going to be because he's like you can't just keep your hands off the wheel. Your hands have to be on the wheel because it detects it or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, but he's like the only annoying part of it was because right now there's not enough charging stations,
Yeah.
and he's like he had to go out of his way to get off the highways and everything to find these charging stations. And the Teslas, I guess they have built in a map that shows you where the charging station was.
Yeah.
So he's like that's neat and everything. He's like, but he's like, I think it took him. I want to say it was like 27 hours to get to New York,
Yeah.
and he's like in like two. He's like, I would say 2 hours of that is me going out of the way to find a charging station.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's worth it, and then again, it's not worth it because he's like finding the charging stations is kind of annoying.
Well,
He's like,
the only place I've even seen one is like Whole Foods.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
in
I've
our
seen all-
area.
yeah. I've seen that at one of the outdoor. I guess it's an outdoor mall. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've
so
seen
there's
it.
a few, but yeah, but if you got more than one or two people with one, then
Yeah.
you're waiting behind them. I don't know what the charge time is, but
Yeah, well, and everywhere he went, he thought he was going to pay money for it.
yeah.
It was free.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a ton of electricity, and honestly, like with the cost of it, like it feels fair that for right now, because you're basically still beta testing
Yeah.
in a way.
Sure.
Did he say if he put Longhorns on the hood of his car?
No, he did not.
The I mean, that's the correct way to go.
Sure.
All right. So we got lined up today. We'll do like our normal AEW wrestling stuff. Probably we're going to do Dragon Ball Breakers. We'll talk about that, which is like the Dragon Ball, what Dead by Daylight style, Friday the 13th game style. Although hopefully this will be without the lawsuits to drag the game down and ruin it. And then you watched basically the Mandarin movie.
Yep, the Mandarin movie. Yep, 10 Rings.
Yeah. So, what do you want to do first?
We can talk about the 10 Rings first, just because.
Something that could never ever possibly destroy
Here
us.
we go.
Mr. Stay Puft.
He chose poorly. You have chosen wisely.
All right. Sorry. As soon as you said that, I just hit the bumper. Didn't give you any time. All right. So you saw it. I've seen some of the trailers, and it looks like it's okay.
So I don't know a lot about the Mandarin.
Right.
I'm not a big Marvel guy, so.
Yeah.
So the story they tell is basically Ra's al Ghul finds some rings, and the rings give him like ultimate life. So instead of a Lazarus pit, he has these rings that keeps him
Yeah.
alive. And so he is extreme, the original Mandarin, but he doesn't call himself the Mandarin
Right.
because he's like, it's insulting because he says he's like, I'm not a chicken dish. So they make a little joke about that.
Yeah. Yeah. To explain why they're not calling him that.
Yeah. So they explain a little bit that he's super old. He falls in love with this one keeper of the gate or whatever type thing, and he basically he falls in love with her, so he gives up the right to have the rings. So he takes the rings off, puts them in a little case or whatever, and his wife also gives up her power basically because she was the protector of the gate or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're living happily ever after. Well, of course, that's not going to happen because his past comes back to haunt him, basically.
Right.
And while he's out, they kill her, and he goes full rage mode. He puts the rings back on, and he starts rebuilding his empire, the Ten Rings. They talk about the little thing in Iron Man, that terrible Mandarin.
Yeah.
He's actually in the movie. Basically the original Mandarin makes him the fake Mandarin, his court jester, basically.
Okay.
So he's like living in he's like living in the castle because the fake Mandarin goes, he's like, well, he's like, I'm just really good at acting, and I make him laugh. And basically, so the Mandarin's son basically leaves because he doesn't want anything to do with his dad, type thing.
Hmm.
So he gets captured by his dad, and he's talking to the old Mandarin or the fake Mandarin about he's like, so you're just a court jester for my dad. He's like, yeah, basically. So there's like some kind of mystical beast that lives like this little furry thing that the fake Mandarin befriended or whatever.
So not the dragon?
Not the dragon, no.
Oh.
He's like some kind of little mist. I don't know what it was. It's like some kind of furry thing, and he's like, he wants to go home, and basically it's where his mom was the protector of. So the Mandarin's son's like, well, he's like, we can go do it. He's like, because my father's looking for it, type thing. So anyway, they go, they find it, and it's just not good. It breaks down very quickly. As far as I'm like, what is going on here?
Yes.
I know my description sounds very lost, but that's how I was watching it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what?
I mean, because they didn't use him as a villain for Iron Man. So my experience with him was from the Iron Man cartoon.
Yes.
Where he had, like, eventually he got all the rings back, except he was green for whatever reason. So that's kind of my experience with him. So other than that, like, by him not being in the movies, except for, like, the fake guy, basically, he's like a secondary character at best to me. So him having, like, an origin movie, regardless of power level, it's like, whatever.
I mean, his son, okay, so the Mandarin, the power rings are incredibly powerful. So he is with Thanos level far as power goes.
Yeah.
Because basically he changed. It's a classic bad guy where he's like obsessed because he thinks his dead wife, is behind the barrier.
Yeah.
But actually behind the barrier is soul stealers. That's what they call them. It looks like something from the Harry Potter things, but they suck your souls or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like trying to break him out, and his son steps up, starts fighting him, and his son is able to gain control of the bracelets. And his father has a change of heart. By that time, he releases the soul stealers, and it kills the original Mandarin. And now his son is now basically the new Mandarin because he has the power rings or power bracelets or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
And he's fighting this soul sucker thing, and it's beating the crap out of him. And then this big dragon comes out of the water for reasons, I guess.
Right. Is that Fing Fang Foom?
They don't call it that, but I assume it would be, yes.
Okay.
And it starts fighting the soul sucker thing, and the Mandarin is like writing it like the never-ending story kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, a face turn, in a sense.
Yeah.
Do they explain why it's? I mean, because it makes sense that it would be a bracelet, if possible, and not a ring. But at some point, are they rings and not bracelets, or?
Well, they say it's bracelets.
Okay. I mean, bracelets are easier because, like, imagine Tom Brady trying to wear 5 rings on one hand. You're not going to be able to make a fist very good.
Yeah, I mean, the bracelets didn't bother me too badly, I guess. It's just the whole origin story, because, like you said, he's kind of associated with Iron Man.
Yeah.
So him not being associated with Iron Man, I just didn't care about his character.
And I mean, it may have never been that way, and it's just because of that one cartoon they threw, who do we need for a villain? We'll throw the Mandarin in here, even though it makes no sense.
Sure.
But guess what? That's Marvel's fault for ruining anyone in our age bracket with that.
Uh, yeah, it's just I don't know. It's because he explains he's like I've now started to come back into power. It's like, well, where was you at during Thanos and everything? Because you could have very easily took Thanos on these power bracelets.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot of inconsistencies with it. So
Now, does it feel like because I haven't seen it obviously, but is his portrayal, if he is a good guy, he's too overpowered?
What the original Mandarin or his son?
His son.
So his son is yeah. I mean his son. I mean I don't know anybody could take him on. Galactus maybe.
Okay. So basically you have like if he is like long-term good guy, you have to keep him away because he's too powerful, or he's going to be out in space screwing around with super space monster people.
Exactly. I mean, because they make this soul sucker thing, like, because he's like from a different dimension or whatever.
Yeah.
And if he gets out, he's going to destroy reality type thing.
Yeah. So he's like on a Doctor Strange level.
Yeah. He's more powerful than Doctor Strange, I would say, because I mean, granted, he needed the dragon to destroy this thing, but I mean, he took on the dragon like no problem.
Okay.
And at the end, Doctor Strange's little sidekick guy.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. He comes and makes his little portal rings, opens up his portal, and he's like, "Do you have the bracelets?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Follow me."
So they'll pair them up. Yeah, because like, yeah. So we're not going to see him showing up in Hell's Kitchen fighting Bullseye, for example.
I think it'd be a little. Yeah, he's not going to be taking on Kingpin.
Yeah, because he would, much like you're not really going to see Doctor Strange fighting Doc Ock because there's just no point.
Yes.
Now Doctor Doom, that's some versatility. You can go one-on-one with like a jobber, or you can take on Galactus. Like,
yeah,
you can do. He is the ultimate slot character.
I wonder if he's going to be the next guy, because Doctor Doom would be pretty awesome.
If they do Doctor Doom right, and they do like super powered Doctor Doom. Yes. I don't want Doctor Doom that goes one-on-one with the Thing and loses. I want Doctor Doom where it takes the X-Men and the Avengers combined with the Fantastic Four and Peter Parker and Silver Surfer. Yes. And even then it's still a fight.
Yes. I remember that video game where Doctor Doom steals Odin's power.
Yeah.
He's even more powerful than what normally is, and that was a pretty cool video game.
Yeah, Doom. If Doctor Doom was in like pro wrestling, he would be like, for an AEW comparison, to be like sometimes he'd be on Dark, and then sometimes he'd have like a year-long world title reign that nobody could stop him, and then he'd be right back to Dark, and it'd be like, how does this even work?
Yes.
Like, but he'd also have like it'd be all, maybe it'd be more like Kurt Angle, where he was like funny sometimes and then serious sometimes.
Yeah.
But still a threat. Like, I don't know. There's some interesting comparison.
Well, in Marvel, kind of books are bad for that. It's like, what? So it took all the Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four to beat you before, but
the Guardians, like everybody.
Yeah, but now it's taking Johnny Storm. Are you okay?
Yeah, there's Doom is I would assume you could probably go on YouTube and look at the history of Doctor Doom and just be appalled at some of the misuse he's seen.
Sure.
Because he even showed up in the 2099 Doom 2099. I think it was still the same Doom. I don't think it was like family, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have definitely not sold me on this movie, but I feel somewhat compelled to read like a synopsis.
I think so. The action film, like the action and the karate moves and everything,
yeah,
are pretty awesome. I mean, it's like Daredevil fight scenes.
Okay.
So far, if you just wanted this a butt kicker type movie,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Okay.
As far as story goes, this is dumb.
Hearing Daredevil like fight scenes, like we're talking the Netflix one, right?
Yes.
Not that it wouldn't be hilarious if you were like laughing to yourself, like comparing it to the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Yeah,
and I watched it, and you're like, haha, I didn't tell you which Daredevil. That would be an excellent joke.
I mean, yeah, because at the beginning of the movie, they portray this. I don't know the guy's name. I feel bad for him because he was a good actor. The character, that I was calling Mandarin's son.
Right.
The Mandarin's son, you kind of think he's kind of a dork type thing.
Yeah.
But when he finally has to bust out the moves, you're like, wow, okay. So,
Yeah. Simu Liu is Shang-Chi.
yes,
I might be saying the name wrong, but
that's why I didn't want to butcher it. That's why I
Right.
said Mandarin's son.
yeah, the first names are always ruin me, but either way,
Yeah. Let's say if you just want to see action and special effects and karate style fighting,
yeah.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. As far as the story goes, I think it's garbage.
What about the 2 hour and 12-minute runtime? Did it need to be 2 hours and 12 minutes, or would 90 minutes have been fine?
90 minutes would have been fine, I think, because I think they overcomplicated it.
Right. Are we in an era of movie inflation
Yes.
where all movies now feel the need to be 2 hours because they just put in dumb stuff that really doesn't matter?
Well, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of movies that are really long,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, well, you could have put this in instead of this stupid, I don't know, like 15 minutes of you joking about cars or something. You know, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, because I'm always torn, because there was a time where it was like, oh, because I always think like the miniseries or the Netflix series for superhero stuff is going to be a better fit because you can get more detail in. So I guess they're like making the movies longer so they can get more detail in, but they're only adding like 30 minutes tops. So like you're still not having enough time to flesh it out very well. I don't know. Now, do we blame what's his name, Christopher Nolan and the Batman movies for this?
Maybe.
Because I think Batman Begins is where it started getting just ridiculous. Yeah, because that was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Dark Knight Rises was 2 hours and 45 minutes.
But it's okay with that one because that one's a really good movie. So.
Well, wait, Dark Knight Rises, I think, is the... Yeah. And then the Dark Knight Returns is the... Hold on. I can't even remember. I think it's just the Dark Knight.
It's the Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
And the Dark Knight Rises is the one.
Somehow my search is bringing up the Bat Tank. Let's see here. Yeah, Dark Knight. I was looking for time run on it. Oh well, it doesn't show up as easily. Yeah, but like those got like real long, so I don't know if that was the point of, oh man, we need 2 hours and 45-minute Batman movies, and then all other people are like, we can do a 3-hour hero movie and people will watch it. They all need to be this long.
Now, I read something last night, and I hope it's not true, because so they want to take Kingpin from the Daredevil series on Netflix.
Yeah.
And they want to reuse him, I guess. And I guess Purple Arrow's movie or TV show. Yeah, I can't think of his name. What's his name?
What? Oh, the purple Hawkeye?
It's it. I can think of the character's name. So they want to take Daredevil's Kingpin from that series and put him in that in the Hawkeye TV series,
What?
but they want to make the Kingpin as big as he is in the cartoons. So they want to CGI that actor
Bigger.
bigger. It's like how he is in the comics.
He's a pretty big dude.
Oh yeah, but they want him like ridiculously big, I guess. How do you feel about that?
Why?
I have no idea.
What?
They were talking about, and I don't know if it was fake, but they would make it sound like it was real. Like they was going to get a fat suit, CGI, and make him even bigger. I'm thinking, what?
Because that guy does an excellent job at Kingpin, I thought.
Oh yeah, he does. He does.
But is there a comic where they? I mean, I guess it makes sense because Hawkeye doesn't actually have powers.
Yeah.
So you're giving him like Kingpin's your catch-all,
Yeah.
like the Riddler. I mean, Kingpin would just kill the Riddler, so there wouldn't really like. It's not like it's a fair level comparison.
Sure.
But, like,
Sure.
Kingpin can be any unpowered person's villain. Where like Riddler would work, you could pick like a random Gotham cop, and the Riddler could terrorize them, and it would be believable.
Sure.
Huh.
But I was just like, why would you take that character? Because I mean, I like the Daredevil series anyway.
Yeah.
On Netflix. I don't know why they got rid of it. Well, I know why Disney got rid of it because they didn't have a hand on it. But but I don't understand why you want to put him in like a big fat suit and make him unrealistically big.
I mean, maybe they could do it and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
But I'm suspicious of it.
Yes.
I had heard, and I don't know if there's any truth to this, that they kind of chilled on Daredevil. Like they're going to reboot it, but they're going to use like a lot of the same people. But they're going to try to take it from like ultra violent to kind of violent, like because it's pretty violent with him, murdering everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I get understand why Disney would want to tone it down, because that series is very violent.
Yeah, but I mean, so much of it is so good. Like, I mean, that thing existing as its own little piece of the universe, as long as they don't mess with, like, just pretend that that's a separate universe or something. And don't touch it again if you're going to reboot it. But because some of the stuff they did, like in the first season, I thought was super good.
Sure.
I've never cared for Elektra as a character, so that just brings everything down in my opinion. But it doesn't mean that it wasn't good. It's just it's like I don't care about that character. So
Well, I mean, the whole thing was good. I even liked the Punisher.
yeah.
And people were probably that was too violent. I was like, well, yeah, it's the Punisher.
Well, I mean, Punisher has to be though. Well,
Yeah.
unless they do the old horror movie thing with Punisher, where you don't actually see what happens, but you know what happens, and it's what happened, but you don't see it. They could always go that route with it.
Sure, but we'll see what Disney does with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because Charlie Cox, the guy that played Daredevil, is rumored to be in the new home Spider-Man homie. I'm home now, or whatever it's called.
Spider-Man meets Homie the Clown.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that every Spider-Man movie has to have home in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the Spider-Man movie's called, but anyway, he's rumored to be in that because they're bringing all the dimensions together. So I don't know.
Yeah, No Way Home, I think.
Okay.
I haven't seen. Somehow, I haven't even watched the trailer for that yet.
Really, it looks pretty cool. But, the one trailer I saw is Doc Ock traps Spider-Man, and somehow he takes Spider-Man's face mask off or whatever.
Yeah, so that doesn't even matter because the only person worse than secret identity keeping is Bruce Wayne.
Well, so Doc Ock somehow gets his mask off, and he's like, "You're not Peter Parker." So that's a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, because it's got like Toby, and all the other people in it.
That's what they rumored to be. I've not seen any. Confirmation.
I think I saw a leaked shot or a official shot of something of the Raimi Spider-Man suit.
Gotcha.
So you kind of have to assume that that's Toby.
I know William Dafoe's in there, which is awesome because he was an awesome Green Goblin.
I mean, he was kind of made to be an Osborn.
Yeah, he was.
If you're looking at Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr.,
yeah.
like Dafoe is on that level.
Yes.
For being crazy Osborn.
Show. So is Jim and Jameson.
Jay Jonah.
Yeah. I mean, that guy was destined to play that role.
I mean, he was exactly what you would imagine. I mean, you got Patrick Stewart as Charles. Was perfect. They've had a lot of really good casting. DC, I don't feel like they've. Maybe Michael Caine, is that who I'm thinking of for Alfred?
Which one? Oh, yeah. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, like honestly, Alfred is one of the most important roles in Batman stuff to me.
Smeagol playing Alfred in the new Batman movie. I don't know where you're getting that at.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, I'm already kind of on the fence with that Batman movie anyway.
Yeah.
And once Smeagol was playing Alfred, I'm like, oh, what in the world are you guys doing?
I mean, it could work.
My precious.
So, speaking of Batman and Alfred, did you see where they've done McFarlane has done the DC animated 7 action figures?
No.
There is see if I can find something here to show you. But yeah, they're like the more detailed. So this is the girls' night out thing is the first one I found. But it's like that animated, like the animated Superman, animated Batman style.
Okay.
But more articulated.
Yeah.
I have not seen any of these in stores though.
Yeah, see, I would actually buy all that.
There's a sick part of my brain that wants to collect something like and keep it in package, and I'm looking for it, and that could potentially be the thing.
Yeah, I like the detail on Livewire there.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really cool. The only thing that's sad is eventually I would have to get Bane, and it would be the stupid Bane from the animated series. But
I don't remember Catwoman looking like that though.
Let me go back here. Which one? The one that I linked, or what they've done?
The one it says frequently bought together. So I don't know if it's one. It has the Catwoman.
Let me see. Down at the bottom.
Yeah.
That is not what I remember either.
Yeah, I don't remember Catwoman look like that. But yeah, that's pretty cool looking.
Unless that's like an alternate story one. But yeah, she always had like the gray. Like heavily gray with a little bit of black trim is what I remember.
Because it looks like it's Livewire wearing Catwoman outfit.
Yeah, that's real strange. But yeah, you're right. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. Maybe that's like a first appearance, and then she got the different suit when she became kind of good guy.
Sure.
Comes with ISIS though. Yeah, but no, that's I had seen. It was one of the wrestlers' toy vlogs. I saw something pop up, and I was like, oh, they remade those. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, because the Batman animated series was some of the best Batman, I think.
Ever, yes.
It was the beginning of them nailing animated and just not knowing what to do with live action.
They're like, we're really good at this. We don't know why we can't translate this into the movies.
Yeah, I would love to just sit in on the production meetings and find out like why they don't just use a similar approach.
I am optimistically excited about the Flash movie
Yeah,
and having Michael Keaton back as that Batman. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
we'll see.
Yes, but basically, yeah,
We'll see.
it's always a disclaimer when it comes to DC movies. We'll see.
Because it's like, well, it should be a slam dunk, and then you watch it and you're like, well, that's not what anyone wanted, but this is what you guys have done.
Yes.
Good job, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to go on to wrestling or video game?
We've been talking for a while. Let's just go to wrestling.
Okay.
And we can talk about game breakers next week or something.
Yeah. Well, and there might be some more information that comes out.
Yeah, because we really don't have a lot to talk about it anyways.
Well, we'll hit it real quick. So, yeah, Dragon Ball is doing Dragon Ball Breakers. It is basically Dead by Daylight with Dragon Ball jobbers. So you get, like, your villain character. Like, they show Cell. I assume you'll have, like, Frieza or some of the other people throughout the show. But you're just like a regular human for the most part, trying to survive and get a hold of a time machine to escape. It looks like it might be cool. They have some more like closed beta coming up, so hopefully we'll get some more information. Because I think they're using like placeholder characters for some of it.
It could be
because they have like Vegeta, like so the survivor characters they use like a mechanic where you can turn into like Krillin, which is hilarious, Vegeta or Goku. But like the Vegeta, it almost looked like an Android 18 head in some shots. In others, it looked like Trunks. So I'm assuming that it's early enough that they don't have everything finished.
Yeah.
And then the game will probably get pushed back to 2025. So, all right. So I'm going to hit the bumper. Here we go for wrestling.
Well, I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks. Looks like he's just wearing blue pants.
This is a revolution.
All right. So we had Survivor Series happen for WWE stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because some people were very critical about Big E getting beat by Roman as relatively clean as he did.
Yeah.
Would you agree that maybe there should have been a little, like, maybe add in a low blow or something for that? Or
Well, I think Big E should have won.
yeah,
I think it would have helped the Raw brand to have Big E win.
yeah,
And it would not have hurt Roman's character at all because he's a big guy anyway.
right,
He could be delusional and say that it never happened, or
right,
whatever, do bad guy things.
yeah,
And I think it would have helped Roman. I think it would have helped Big E's character as a like, hey, wow, this guy beat Roman type thing. You know?
yeah. But you got to keep Roman strong for The Rock in 2025.
Sure.
I don't know, because like obviously Roman is a tier above Big E.
Sure.
But it feels like you could have, like, a win would have definitely been big for Big E. Well, in theory, they probably would have like done that and then have him lose the belt on, Monday. Like, you can win, but then you're going to lose the belt to Jinder or somebody.
Sure.
Like, again, that's my perception of just nothing matters. Consider you have like just such bizarre decisions. Like, again, when I see, like, because AEW does the rankings, and they, for the most part, they have ways that they can get around, like having somebody who's not in the rankings get a title shot if they want. But for the most part, like, it's like, oh, that's kind of your top of the card, or, these guys are at least going to be portrayed as like, oh, they're in the top 5 for a while.
Sure.
Whether they fall out of it or not, like, it's a thing there. And they actually have like winning records. Whereas when I see people take what they've seen from WWE and make up that same kind of graphic, you'll have like the number one contender is like 1-27 over the last year. And
Yeah.
it's like, you're like, man, you guys are kind of all over the place with how they do it. But again, they're making millions of dollars and I'm not. So what do I know?
Sure.
But yeah, but no, I could definitely see the argument of having Big E win, or even if like Big E got cheated, like severely cheated, like an Uso beat down, and that's why he lost. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah, it should have. If you was dead set on having Roman win, then you should have had Big E get cheated big time type thing.
yeah, where it's like a travesty of justice.
Yeah,
But then they would just ignore it come the next week and not really do anything with it.
sure.
Because like you can't believe that the big payoff at the end is Big E's going to be the guy to beat Roman, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, do you really want The Rock to beat Win? I mean, whether The Rock shows up at WrestleMania,
Yeah,
which I doubt he will, but let's say he does. I mean, do you really want a guy who's not going to be there full time beating your main dude? No, that's just dumb.
I mean Brock did that a lot.
Sure.
Well, that's the thing is like, my hope now, and Rock may not actually legitimately be in the picture, but you got to wonder, like, because they would have to want to do that match, but like Rock cannot be the guy to beat Roman, right? Because what you have like someone who never wrestles shows up and is able to beat Roman, then what? Like, because Rock's not going to go on a 6-month run where he does an open challenge for the world title every week.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, you don't want
like, why would you not want to? But like, from watching Survivor Series,
yeah.
I don't think there's anybody who's built up enough that they're going to beat Roman right now. Like, not in the next 6 months.
WWE doesn't have anybody. Big E, where's your shot there?
Well, and it doesn't feel. And again, I'm not watching a ton of WWE, but I'll check out stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like anybody's in the process of being elevated either.
Nope.
Like, I look at AEW, and like right now, Hangman's the champion. I'm pretty sure Hangman's going to beat Danielson. But there's already heels on the rise up to challenge against him and being built. Like, before he even got the belt, you started seeing like some of the bad guys like getting elevated a little bit, like they were getting ready to at least go for the title.
Yeah, MJF's is. I think MJF's going. But yeah, I see what your point is.
Yeah, like you can at least see that they're building people.
Yeah.
Like when Kenny had it at a certain point, it was like, okay, we're pretty sure Hangman's going to be the guy, and you could tell they were working on getting him back into that spot.
Sure.
And making like the way they did it, it was like, okay, he's being slowly built back up. They teased it with the thing where he lost with the Dark Order. But then as soon as he came back, it was like, okay, this is what we've been waiting for. He got the giant poker chip. You think he like kept that as a souvenir, or did he have to give that back to the prop guy? Like, here's your giant poker chip back.
I mean, I don't get it. I mean, because WWE storytelling is just all over. Because I think I texted you this before the after the mass firing recently.
Yeah.
Like Hit Row, for example. Now, I wasn't a fan of these guys, but they were in a storyline literally like the week before with another. I think it might have been a Miz. They were in a storyline with somebody.
Yeah, they were doing something on TV.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, they're fired.
So
okay.
The one thing, and I'm gonna say funny, but not like haha you lost your job funny, is there was the comment from them that, oh, we can promo so we won't flounder or something to that degree. And while like they're not in my wheelhouse of like stables that I like or whatever, they could. Like, that is legitimately true. And you always think, like, because we've talked about this, like, I've definitely come around to it. I'm more interested in a character in the story than the actual in-ring at this point.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, I want good in-ring. Like, it doesn't have to be, like, I'm not expecting Omega Okada 60-minute matches out of everybody, but I'd like at least, like, Bret Hart against Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Similar, like, not as good, but like something like that where it's like, okay, this is pretty good. And for the most part, everybody's capable of a decent match now. Just make me interested in it. I was watching, I didn't get to catch all of Rampage this week, but the Wheeler Yuta and Orange Cassidy against Cole and Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
It felt very much to me when I was watching that match. Do you remember watching, like, for old wrestling, like NWA, WCW, like Eddie Gilbert, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert? Do you remember him?
Yes.
Where he would be in the main event of, like, the syndicated show against, like, one of the bad guys, and you always wanted Eddie Gilbert to win, but he'd always fall short.
Yeah.
But there'll be, like, those one or two moments where you're like, oh, this might be where he actually wins. Like, that match felt like that to me, and that's all I'm wanting, is where it's like, I kind of, these are good guys, I kind of want them to win. Oh, you know what? Against somebody else, that would have won.
Sure.
Like, if this wasn't like a higher level team, they probably would have won it right there. These guys are just tough, unfortunately, even though they're cheaters. Like, stuff like that. That's all give me that little moment of, like, forgetting that I have a real good idea of how things are going to go a lot of times.
Sure.
But yeah, like, I don't get any of that from their stuff.
The current WWE,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, like, there's one or two things that are consistent, but so, like, yeah, like Top Dollar and, like, that whole thing, it's like they can promo. You would have thought, now, unless they really made people angry, but it seemed like that's the kind of stable that would hang around for a while.
Sure. Well, it's almost like McMahon is like watches Twitter, and you get these people that are truly loyal to WWE, and he's like, "Oh yeah." He just like,
can I break him? Yeah, he's Bane sitting there, like, you will scream my name.
I'm going with the one theory that whatever that Khan guy's name is.
Conrad?
No,
Tony Khan?
No, not Tony Khan. The other Khan.
His uncle, Nick Khan.
Is that who it is? Nick Khan? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going with the theory that Nick Khan is somebody that Triple H and Shawn Michaels buried back in the day. And now he's getting his revenge.
I mean, there's got to be. What do you think of the conversation? Because I've heard, like, a few of the different, like, like the Brian Alvarez's or the Sean Ross Sapps, those guys. Like, I've been listening to some of their stuff where I don't think anybody thinks Triple H would leave at this point. No. But if he was going to, this would be the kind of thing that would push him that way.
You talking about a weird family reunions?
Well, and I mean, we don't know. Like, he could be like, yeah, fine, do whatever. I don't care. I mean, he could literally just quit and never do anything and never have to work again.
Yeah.
He could be Papa Triple H at home for his family, and it wouldn't matter. But yeah, you would think, like, he can't just be like, oh, I'm going to quit and start my own promotion with Sean or go somewhere else, because, like, if you thought, like, there's probably a degree of awkwardness at some gatherings currently after everything.
I mean, who knows? Maybe McMahon might like that. Who knows? You know,
be like, oh, I like it.
I mean, I never thought I would see Eric Bischoff on WWE television,
right?
And it happened. So who knows, man? It wouldn't surprise me if Triple H started his own promotion, or showed up on AEW one day. So who knows?
I feel like he wouldn't go. I don't know that AEW needs him.
No, they don't.
Other than a shock factor. But if Triple H were to get involved with, like, Ring of Honor, or, I mean, I'm sure he could get the money to start, like, a small promotion, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's room for 3 major promotions, so I don't know. Like,
Yeah, it would be like how it was with AEW, WCW, WWF, and ECW.
yeah, where it's like ECW's like a smaller, but it exists. But you're basically doomed to fail at a certain point.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless there's a way to do it, and Paul Heyman just wasn't the best businessman.
I'm going to go with that.
Like, basically stay in your lane kind of thing.
Everything I've heard about Paul Heyman, they said he's a great creative mind. But far as a business guy goes, I heard that he was there. Who knows?
It seems like the way the wrestling world works from a finance standpoint is also completely insane.
Sure.
Like, even in controlled environments, it's completely insane. So I'm sure it was a mess over there. But yeah, so Survivor Series, that didn't make you want to watch all WWE all the time?
No, that being said, I watched SmackDown last night.
Yeah.
Just the Roman part, and I turned it off.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, his stuff is consistent.
Well, it's really hard to root against Roman in my mind. Well, at least I can't root against the guy. I mean, the guy beat cancer twice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really hard to root against a guy like that, And he seems to really, really love his daughter.
Yeah.
So, the guy seems like just a decent human being. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does make it hard, but he's still the bad guy. But the thing is, he's the bad guy, and he's the most interesting.
Yes.
So what are you going to do for me to root against him? Or, yeah, it doesn't feel like there's anything. All right, let's hop over. We'll do Dynamite real quick. Our pre-Thanksgiving Dynamite.
Yeah.
We got the CM Punk and MJF promo battle.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out, because I was like, CM Punk against QT Marshall, what is this going to be used for? Because this is a nothing in a sense.
Yes.
What's that?
No, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm thinking the same thing. Like QT Marshall.
Yeah, so it had to be a vehicle for something of some kind. And then as soon as like the music, it was like, oh, okay, we're gonna finally get like a back and forth promo with them.
Yeah.
And basically, the reality is like they were probably gonna give Punk 30 minutes. It feels like so, but 20 minutes of it was gonna be the MJF promo, and then he was just gonna have like a pretty standard match with QT. What did you think of this?
I mean, I thought it was all right. They've taken a lot of shots at WWE. I mean,
well, I think it was designed to be shots at Punk using WWE, but
sure.
I mean,
Well, and I think it's funny that MJF keeps teasing that maybe one day he's going to go to WWE. I'm thinking you are not going to go to WWE. Why would you want to?
be like, you would be insane. Like, you would, yeah, like, especially now that he would not be a WWE guy, he'd be an AEW guy.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the first major person to go over there and be made an example of that they can't cut it?
Yes, exactly.
Because that's exactly what. Ask Sting how that WrestleMania played out.
Yes.
For literally no reason. There was no reason that Triple H needed to beat him.
The only person that has been treated fairly that's not a WWE guy has been AJ Styles. I'm surprised.
I am so shocked that AJ Styles has had as much success there as he has.
I mean, everybody, Chris Jericho, Booker T, Sting, they wanted to work their way up to the top, I think.
Yeah, when they could have been, like, better. Yeah, the Sting thing is still just super weird. Like, we get it. Like losing to Rollins is fine because you're not going to put the belt on Sting, but yeah, so MJ and Punk go back and forth. I honestly thought it was a little bit long. That said, I knew that once this was over, I was getting QT and Punk, so I was fine with this going longer.
Sure.
Because every sentence was a few seconds that match wasn't going to take up. I did like where one of the things, I'm just kind of looking at the little transcript here on the AEW site, where Punk was basically like, I'm disappointed in you. And because he basically like had an entire week of time to come up with stuff, and that was the best he got.
Yeah.
And then like there was definitely like a little bit of a back and forth, and some people were saying like they actually, you could almost tell in the beginning part of it that MJF might have been a little nervous.
Could have been. Yeah.
I didn't really pick up on that too much, but I mean, this is a pretty big moment for him. So,
Yeah.
But yes.
I did like CM Punk's elbow drop. That was very Macho Man-ish of him.
Oh yeah, he's been doing that forever. There's one of his gear sets was made to look like Macho Man. I think it was his orange tights, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's done that forever. He does it pretty good. I like that. So WWE Punk, he would hit like the elbow drop like normal, like when you kind of laying more on the side. I like that AEW Punk really does just land on them because he's like, yeah, I'm not messing my hip up anymore. I'm old. So he's like, yeah, you're going to get crushed by my elbow drop. Because like on Hobbs, he just landed on top of Hobbs.
Sure. You're going to get exactly like if Randy Savage were wrestling you right now. I'm just going to lay right into you.
Be like, I won't hit your actual trachea, but you're going to feel this one in the morning. I thought Punk was also going to crush QT, like kick him in the head, GTS, and that's it. But again, I think they're like playing up the story that Punk is lost a step. Yeah, he's Logan, which again I'm okay with, and like honestly, like QT Marshall or not, which most people do not, in ring, he is very good.
He is.
Like, he's safe. He can do pretty much whatever you need. So you can have a good match with him. It's just people aren't invested in him as a character.
Well, unless the people are jobbers from out of state or whatever.
Yeah.
If you have current people that are on the roster all the time, you really don't want to do
the squashes.
You really don't, because that hurts the roster.
Right. Well, and if Punk beats QT, just like, unless it's like he catches him by surprise, like he basically had to like catch him by surprise with something to do it like super quick, like with, I get what you're saying, because yeah, if he just obliterates QT and then someone else fights him that's had a match with Punk, like you get into a weird problem with that. So but yeah, so we get some Christian Cage stuff. Jungle Boy shaved his beard, I guess.
Yeah, which I'm like, okay, I'm getting on the Jungle Boy wagon, and I'm like, okay, back off it again.
It's all right. Someone, Christian or Jungle Boy, someone's turning on somebody.
I think it's Christian.
Yeah,
I think Christian is going to turn on.
And then him and Jungle Boy will have a feud where Jungle Boy can learn how to be a good guy that people care about.
Jungle Boy becoming a bad guy actually might be good for the character, other than being a piece of bread. But
yes,
I don't think they're going to go that route.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let me see. So there's some like gun club stuff.
Yes.
Finally, we're building because the gun club has an impressive record, but it's against nobodies, which is why like Colton doesn't show up on the rankings. Basically, last I knew. But yeah, so you think somebody is going to team up with Sting and Darby, or are you just going to get Colton and Austin against Sting and Darby, or Billy and like some combination with Billy?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You would team up with Sting and Darby, to be honest with you. So yeah, it'd probably just be them two versus the Gun Club.
But I mean, it seems like it's probably a way to get Sting like a tag match for one of the upcoming things. Darby can get like another win and win a feud. Like,
yeah. I mean, Harvey man blew up. Who did he blow up? Was it Austin that he blew up?
Oh, with the with his dive.
I mean, I'm sure Sting was like, all right, man, all we had to come out, maybe just do a punch or something. Oh, no. No, Sting, I want to go full head of steam, man. I want to ram it.
I
Okay.
mean, honestly, I know Darby doesn't weigh much, but I don't care. Like, anyone who's willing to eat that,
Yeah.
yeah, is
Well,
like,
there's.
because it was hilarious when Billy just sidestepped it.
I mean, because there's no faking that. You're eating that.
Like, you can do it safe, where you take it in the chest and you're prepared for it, versus being blindsided. But that's
Or you-
still.
Or
Like, if
you
you're
said-
like, Ross, all right, you're gonna punch me for real in the face. Like, are you sure? Like, well, I'll turn my head with it some. All right, but that's still gonna be me full on hitting you. Like, you want me? No, it's got to be full. All right. I mean, if you think that's the best way to do it, but
Well, and like you said, like last week when Billy just sidestepped it. What I mean, can you imagine that conversation? Billy's like, "Well, I'm not eating that, so I wouldn't go full. That's going full blown. All right, well, I'm going to sidestep it. So,
right. Well, yeah, and I mean that's got to be the conversation. Like, I don't think Billy was like saw him running. He was like, had agreed. He was like, yeah, I'll take that, and then he was just like, last second, was like, nope.
that's what I'm saying. It had to be a conversation where Billy's like, "Well, I'm not going to eat that. Well, I'm still going to do it. Okay, well, whatever."
Be like, I mean, I can sidestep you, and you can just eat it on the rail, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like, thank goodness it's not the days of the rope, because if you were in the front row on a Derby match, you'd be in danger.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, so we'll get that. So Bobby Fish and Adam Cole had a thing where they kind of made fun of the best friends a little bit. You seem very pleased with that.
Oh, that was great. They're like, you paid no attention to us. Well, why wouldn't he pay attention to you? That was great. I loved it.
So I didn't watch a ton of Undisputed Era stuff
Yeah.
in NXT, but I never disliked Bobby Fish or anything. But like, even though he's not like winning a ton or whatever, his matches are really good. Like, he fits that like bruiser kind of role that he can beat most of the people he's fighting and it's believable. But if he loses, it looks like the person fighting him had a heck of a time doing it.
Yeah.
Like, his offense is pretty straightforward and he just looks imposing. I'm really growing to like him.
Well, because I think we're going to get the Undisputed Era in AEW, because I think that Kyle O'Reilly guy, his contract runs up
Yeah, and he's
December.
well, yeah, like it'll be there's a few people like Johnny Gargano, I guess, did like the 1 week extension or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would expect. I just can't see staying, or people are going to start negotiating contracts where they can quit.
Sure.
Like, I think that'd be the route I would go at this point. Is
The only thing NXT has going for it, and I don't know if you've seen it, is Steiner brother son.
You mean
he-
Braun
he's-
Breaker?
Yeah.
I don't think he's a Steiner. I mean, it'd be ridiculous to not just call him like Braun Steiner if he's like one of the Steiner brothers.
Why wouldn't you use that name? But whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't,
Now, he looks pretty impressive from what I've seen of him.
yeah, so I think he's the best thing going to NXT. Other than that, I would try to get out of there. And hopefully AEW would take me.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the thing. Well, like, we're coming up on like 3-year contracts, it sounds like. So there's going to be people that AEW are going to not re-sign.
Pretty Peter. I think it's.
Peter Avalon, I think he's like a backstage guy. I have the
well,
feeling.
It's either, and that's the thing, like the librarian lady,
Yeah, Leva.
And then like Pretty Peter and some of that. I wonder if some of those guys are actually like, hey, can we just transition into like office help type thing? Because I never see them on TV, but they're still very active with AEW. So
Right.
I wonder if that's what a lot of them are going to do.
Or it's like, hey, we'll just be employees, we'll do our thing, but we can always do like a per performance thing if we're needed in the ring for something.
Yeah.
because like Wingman is fantastic as just like the jobber bad guy stable.
Yeah.
Like, because like Caesar Bonani is an awesome guy, so anything that gets him some TV time or whatever. But yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of people there that they're not doing much in ring. So like, yeah, Peter Avalon doesn't have a ton of value currently as a wrestler, but I'm sure he's contributing something somewhere, I would assume. And I mean, maybe he just wants to try his hand at, like on the indie circuit or whatever, but I mean, he could do that anyway. So
Sure. Yeah.
I wonder, I mean, does Tony Khan know he can just like fire people even though it makes absolutely no sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like I saw something where there were a lot of I guess it's like whatever the phrase is for like the super weird WWE fans.
Okay.
Where they're like every other wrestling is horrible for some reason.
Yeah.
Where they're just like chomping at the bit for AEW to release people.
Sure. See, I don't think.
And is that because they want someone else to do it so that WWE's not the only place that does it? So they can be like, oh, God, I mean, he had to release somebody.
I think Tony just won't re-sign him.
Yeah.
He's going to do it.
Well, my assumption on this, and I don't know, but so he manages like, or not manages, but he works with like an NFL team or like the soccer stuff. I don't know how often it happens in pro football, but I haven't really seen it, where you just release a player in the middle of their contract and then they can't do anything for 90 days.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, NFL doesn't like that at all because you get cut from a team, you just go to another team.
Yeah, like it's an immediate thing, and you have to pay like whatever is built into the contract. So my assumption is that when he signs people to a contract, his budget mentality is, we're paying this person this much. If they don't work out, that's on us.
Yeah, but that's a different entity though, because if you get cut from the Bills, you can go to the Bengals, as I say. The Bengals and the Bills are still part of the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So let's just say if
they wanted to go to the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, let's just say the Canadian Football League was compatible to the NFL as far as being big and everything. I mean, is there a 90-day compete clause? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I would assume that it doesn't matter because they're not worried about it. But I'm just saying, like, the mentality is your expectation once you sign the contract with the talent is that you're going to see his mentality is seeing the contract through and not cutting them in the middle of it and just ruining their life, potentially.
Well, the one woman that he did fire because I guess there was a lot of problems with her.
Yeah.
She was able to go back to wherever. I think she's burned a lot of bridges wherever she went.
Yeah.
So she didn't go to WWE, but I mean, it seems like they had talent be on both shows.
Yeah.
So I don't think Tony cares, type thing.
Right. Well, I wonder too with the contract stuff, because I was thinking about, I don't know why I was thinking about this. I'm sure other people have brought it up, is they're not a publicly traded company. So they don't have to worry about like increasing like revenue for shareholders kind of thing.
Sure.
Tony Khan is also pretty set. Like, he doesn't have to do AEW to survive. So he might be operating as long as I can pay my guys, we're making a profit so we can do more stuff, and the networks are happy. I don't have to make the he doesn't have to maximize profit at every single turn.
Well,
by doing things like cutting people even though they're under contract.
Well, from what I read in the one interview he did, his dad pretty much said, well, I think AEW is a bad idea. It's going to be a bust. But hey, when I die, you're going to get my money anyway. So if that's what you want to spend it on, go ahead.
Right.
It seems like he doesn't really care too much when it comes to so.
Right. Well, and I think they're, other than like the video game investment, from all the stuff I've ever seen, like it seems like they're doing well.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's never an issue. But yeah, I wonder if it's like he's not driven to maximize profit, if he's more driven to make sure there is a profit because you want to operate in the black, but it's more about putting on the best show and like not being horrible to people.
Sure. Now we went on a big long tirade.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think eventually we'll get the Undisputed Era in AEW. So that's the point I was going with that. So.
Yep. Here we'll jump ahead real quick. Bad guy American Dragon against Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
This went exactly as you would expect it to.
Yes.
Did he really kick out one of his teeth?
Well, it looked like.
Or were they like, "Hey, Britt, do you got a tooth we can borrow?"
It looked like it was an actual tooth. So, did the referee keep it? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, Britt could have slipped Colt a tooth before the match.
She does have access to teeth, so sure.
Which would be an amazing use of Britt Baker.
Yeah, we need teeth, right? We need teeth.
Be like, all of a sudden there have been so many knocked out teeth in AEW. What is going on?
Sure.
Or it turns out Bryan Danielson and Britt Baker are in cahoots, and he's sending her business.
Yes.
Yeah. You're gonna see like where Andrade was paying off MJF. You're gonna see Britt paying off Bryan Danielson.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be a good BTE bit. Yeah. Then we had like so Paige comes out to confront Danielson, who does the. Of course, you'd say that after I've already wrestled a match. So I'm guessing it's going to be the of course you'd and then whatever heel run for Danielson during this feud.
I think Danielson needs a sidekick.
I was thinking what would be fantastic, because they've already kind of alluded to it, or at least Punk has. If Danielson and Punk are bad guys,
yeah,
and then do Moxley for the third guy.
Sure.
Just because that would be like a super strong group of bad guys.
Yeah.
You could have a world title guy, potentially, or TNT title guy and tag title guys.
Yeah. Well, the problem is you would have not strong good guys. That's the problem they have right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have Hangman, and then you can get Kenny back or something like that. Like they can run roughshod for a while, and like
sure.
Hangman's basically back in that role of the good guy that needs to get whatever belt it is back.
Sure.
But yeah, they would definitely they'd need to build some people up, or you do like Hangman, Darby, and Sammy. Like you're getting some of your pillars in there, kind of thing. But
sure.
So what do you think? And I don't know what they're gonna do, but yeah, him having like even a stooge would be pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, bring back the what's that gimmick they had, the Crusaders, the Captain America, not Captain Planet thing that he had.
When he had Rowan with him.
Yeah, but bring Rowan back, and there you go.
I mean, that'd be interesting. That'd be like there's history there, so it would make sense to do. Just
sure.
have him as the muscle or whatever. I kind of think that this is still just a one-shot heel run, where at the end of it, like assuming Hangman beats him, he can basically be like, like I really didn't think you had it in you or something like that. So he was using every tactic he could.
I think it would
get in his head.
Yeah, I think it'd be very easy to turn Danielson back to the guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, something like that where he basically tells Hangman he was giving him every dirty, underhanded thing he could do to him because he just didn't think he had it, but he proved him wrong, and then they shake hands, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Almost like when Shawn was the bad guy against Hogan.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, he immediately turned back good guy, like none of that horrible stuff that he...
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get like a cluster of a main event with everybody. Were you entertained by this, or did you even watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. So You're going to have to tell me something out here. When did Andrade switch to trunks?
So he tore his pants apparently.
Okay. 'Cause then, and he's wearing pants, and all of a sudden he's in it. I was like, what happened? Did he take his pants off during that? No, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he like ripped the pants or something, and then he was just like, forget it. And honestly, the guy's in like super good shape. So
It was weird. Because I'm like, did you take your pants off during the match here? What's going on? So,
like these pants are chafing me, man. I got to take them off.
I was confused. I didn't know where that character was going with that. So I got it.
Right. But yeah. So I mean, this was like a pretty crazy match. But Andrade gets the pin on Pac.
No.
I guess there was like the post show beatdown.
Yeah.
Where he nails Cody on the concrete.
Yeah.
And then the crowd chants, "You deserve it." Which would have been hilarious, though, is if the crowd started with that, and then all of a sudden they stopped, but then they started chanting, "You earned it." Like, if I would have been in the crowd, I would have been trying to get that to happen.
Yeah, man. But it's just like, poor Cody. Just become a bad guy. People want you as a bad guy.
As soon as he's a bad guy, he's going to get cheered.
You had the Homelander outfit on anyway, so you're kind of hinting that way anyway. So, yeah.
I like when he was like, I didn't know who Homelander was.
Yeah.
Like, no, sure you didn't. Yeah. Like, yeah, at some point, he's going to have to do something.
It would make sense that Malachi turns him evil. And him and Malachi is on like a little whatever.
Yeah, like, that's the team up. Yeah, because, well, that also gives Malachi, like, so it's the opposite of Bray Wyatt, where Bray was supposed to be this cult leader, but then never did anything. But this would be, because Malachi said he was going to beat Cody, and he decimated him. Yeah. And then he beat him again. And then there's been some back and forth. But ultimately, him turning Cody gives him, like, I did beat you.
Because they keep hitting that way.
Yeah.
Just because I think that, okay, I'm like, all right, they're done with Cody. Cody's going to move on to somebody else. But Malachi keeps hinting that he's going to destroy Cody and make him a bad guy. Yeah. And I was like, if you're going to do that, you better do it. Stop teasing me.
Well, and they also had where MJF, like, long ago, was like, I'm a bad person. He's like, what you don't realize is Cody's worse than me.
Sure.
But he hides it, kind of thing. I forget the exact quote, but he said something like that. And that would be interesting if that was like, yeah, make sure to say something like that just so it's there if we need it.
Sure. I still remember when Hogan turned heel.
Yeah.
And the brain was like, I knew it. I've been saying it for years.
Yeah, because he literally did.
So that's what needs to happen in AEW if Cody turns.
Yeah, you get MJF, like, let the heel run go for just a little bit, where it's like, I can't believe Cody did some of the things he's done, and then MJF's like, I told you all, but nobody wanted to listen to me because I'm the bad guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it gives, like, and again, like, I think they're smart enough, even if that wasn't planned, I think they're smart enough to take advantage of that. Because, again, it makes it look like, well, one, we're acknowledging things we've did in the past. But maybe we do have, like, plans laid out where it'd be super easy to go into them if we need to. Like, maybe that's not the real plan, but it's like, oh, we did say this, so we could absolutely use this with this. And it fits.
Yep.
So, all right. But overall, did you think it was a good show for pre-Turkey Day?
I thought it was all right. I don't think it was the best show ever, but it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point, or at least for me, like, there's been some Dynamites that have been so good. Yeah. It's going to be hard to have, like, the best Dynamite ever.
Agreed.
At this point. Like, as long as it's watchable, that's kind of like, if I'm not spending more time trying to figure out why something doesn't make sense and I can just kind of like enjoy it or laugh about something, that's all I'm really asking for.
So, I mean, I'll just say this, that, like, so I try to watch Raw this week.
Yeah.
Or, like, SmackDown. I cannot watch a whole show. I can still watch a whole show of Dynamite.
It is just so... so I was rewatching, for some reason, I don't know what I was watching. Oh, I was watching Evil Uno's blog. And there's the part where Evil Uno had Brian in the corner, and he was doing, like, the forearm into chop. Like, forearm chop. And it looked pretty brutal. But it was one camera shot. And I just couldn't help but think, if this was WWE, every one of those strikes would have had a camera cut, and I'd want to vomit.
Yeah.
And they'd have been shaking the camera at the same time.
WWE's camera work, I don't know where they're getting that idea from, but it is terrible.
It's got to be Hollywood action scenes like Michael Bay.
But even Michael Bay's not that bad.
I challenge you to go back and watch the original Transformers that he did, fight scenes, and tell me that WWE is not that bad, but they're definitely in the conversation. Like, I would love to see, like, actual filmmakers review their camera shooting style and see what they think.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the shaky cam works occasionally, but it feels like it's just like, oh, that's a good idea, but it's overused. Like, you know, if you make, like, if you have pizza and you're a fan of Parmesan cheese, so you put Parmesan cheese on your pizza to make it better, you're like, that worked real good. But then you're like, you know what? If Parmesan makes this better, well, this peanut butter and jelly sandwich would be way better with some Parmesan cheese on it.
Exactly.
And my orange juice, that needs some Parmesan cheese. Like, it's like they've over-applied something that was good, and now they're just running around ruining everything.
Yeah.
And now when you see a pizza with Parmesan on it, you're just remembering the time you had biscuits and gravy with Parmesan, and it just makes you not like the
That's
pizza.
the title for this show, Ross. WWE is Parmesan cheese.
Let's put Parmesan cheese on the toast or whatever. Yeah, I'll figure out something for it.
So we've been talking kind of longer. So you just want to wrap up with Dynamite here, or do you want to?
Let's just stop with Dynamite. I mean, Rampage is good. If you like AEW, you're gonna like Rampage. Like I mentioned, I really like the tag match.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. So the other stuff is obviously going to be pretty good too, but that one just really stuck out to me because it had that Eddie Gilbert moment to me for some reason. Because Yuta hits like this big splash, and I was like, this is exactly how I used to feel when like Eddie Gilbert would, he's going to win. Nope, he didn't. Of course not. But like they had me for just that second kind of thing.
Sure.
So, all right. Well, we will return next week. Hopefully there'll be some more Dragon Ball Breaker news.
Yeah.
I will say for Hearthstone, this is totally unrelated, but I'm Diamond 1 currently. So I'm trying to hit Legend finally.
Okay.
I need 4 wins in a row.
Yeah.
What'll probably happen is it'll probably take me 34 wins and I'll lose 50 of them. Because there's no win streaks or anything, so we'll see. But this is the closest I've been since like the game came out. And it's in Wild, so it's just a nightmare.
Oh, and also, if you are letting your subscriptions run out on Nintendo or World of Warcraft, go back and double check to make sure they didn't turn the stupid thing back on. Where you get World of Warcraft did that to me. I ended it back in July. Somehow they turned it back on, and I got billed for another 6 months. So,
really?
Yes. So I called customer service about it. They're like, well, we don't know how that happened. I'm like, yeah, I bet you don't.
I'm checking mine right now. Yeah, my subscription's still expired, but...
So Nintendo did it to me, too. So check Nintendo. Nintendo came up and like, oh, your subscription is getting ready to be auto-renewed. And I was like, no, I canceled that. And no, they turned it back on. So check your subscriptions, people, if you don't want to be rebilled.
Yeah, I'll have to check because I got the email from Nintendo because I left mine on just as a reminder in case I wanted to. But a lot of times, like for places like that, I'll go in and I remove like the payment option completely.
Well, that's what I did with World of Warcraft. But
yeah. And from like a Russian hacker standpoint, I'd like to not give Vladimir any money.
No.
So,
just a reminder: check your subscriptions.
All right, that's our PSA for the week. So, all right, everybody, we will catch you next week.
Bye.